Okay. Greetings to all
Wifi, vero. Scusa, ho
at
dimenticato.
this year's
Lei
Pranic Festival.
Ho dimenticato.
perché se si connettono internet non va a Skype.
A gathering to celebrate the language of light, frequency, and energy. Thank you to Nicholas for your inspired vision, creating this festival, and to your team and volunteers that helped you organize it. My given name is Royal Rivera, also known as Rishi Royal. I am a light harvesting hybrid. I was born in the USA. Currently, the US is Hawaii. But I'm traveling now, and so I'm joining you from California at 1 a.m. in the morning. Do not believe anything I'm about to share with you. These are my personal, direct insights, intuitions, up. Revealed from diving deep down the rabbit hole. Find or reach a bottom. In fact, the more I know, the less I know. I encourage you all to seek within, embrace your own unique experience, connect to your higher self. The answers are within you. Over 30 years ago, I chose a vegetarian lifestyle diet. I did not choose this for health reasons or to improve my body's health. I realized who and what the giant cosmic beings that we call trees are. They serve selflessly. They are the lungs of Earth, of Gaia. They have a crucial symbiotic relationship with humans in nature to feed from the negatively charged ions and structured chi fields. Thriving and living on light and prana alone is a result of dedicated, focused effort. However, this effort actually translates to devotion. Being sincerely devoted to spiritual awakening and evolution. Living on light, prana alone is never the goal, but a natural, graceful unfoldment, a spontaneous occurrence, inspired from a devotion to spiritual awakening and remembering when you wake up from this dream spell, this trance, the whole world wakes up. Because now you perceive the world as it truly is, as yourself. There is only a monologue happening at all times. And you are this unborn consciousness. Eternal awareness. So what are particles of plant food? They are particles of light. They are condensed particles of light. All is condensed sunlight. For example, maybe first generation sunlight is fruit. Second generation sunlight, leafy greens. Third generation sunlight, vegetables. Fourth generation sunlight, grains, quinoa, rice. Fifth generation sunlight, dairy, egg. Sixth generation sunlight, dead animals, etc., etc. I invite you to consider the Adam and Eve parable. You remember the first bite of the apple. Maybe Homo luminous beings regressed into Homo sapiens after that first bite of the apple. And the amnesia began. The separation from pranic energy. And the mutation of the human body, developing a complex digestive system. And the amnesia continues today in our modern time. So I would like to speak about circadian rhythm, which you all may be very familiar with. They are our internal clock. And this clock regulates every function of the human body. Brain function, hormone levels, blood pressure, sleep quality, etc. So, how to reset your internal clock? Or circadian rhythm. When you wake up in the morning, if the weather permits, go outside with bare feet on the electrically charged surface of the earth. Gaze at the sun and or like solar panels, your skin will absorb the sunlight. And even 10 minutes is enough. Sleep in complete darkness. Do not use fluorescent lights. Wear blue blocking glasses if you use devices at night. And do not eat after 6 p.m. Usually, the most beneficial practices are hidden in plain sight. they are the simplest. Our skin captures, absorbs information from sunlight. Science is now proving that our skin function as solar panels, converting light into energy. You know, there are many examples of beings, past, present, future, and beyond, that are actualized, realized, or ascended, and they did not stop consuming food. There are many paths up the mountain. At the top, it is the same view. One knowing, one seeing. And I say this to you so that you will be gentle and allowing with yourself. The Pranic lifestyle is a beautiful existence. And it is not an achievement. If any of you have experimented with food and drink liquid-free periods, another name, dry fast. If you dry fast beyond 5 days, it is crucial to incorporate enemas and or colonics. When people dry fast, they rinse their mouth. They clean their teeth. And so it's important to go to the lower mouth, the bowels, and cleanse or rinse those. The liver and kidney will release a lot of bile. Okay, so at this moment, I am really looking forward to questions. And so I'm an open book. And please answer or please ask any questions you may have at this moment.
Come here. Come here. Sì, sì, però magari se mi... Ah, ok.
Hello.
overreact with negative ions? I mean, can we get too much and disbalance the body? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question. The negatively charged ions are particles of energy. They are actually particles of light, just like infrared are actually particles of light. Like if you were in a completely dark room and you had infrared glasses, you would be able to see all the light that still exists in a dark room, which you can harvest. And you cannot overexpose yourself to negatively charged ions. When is it most common to be exposed to negatively charged ions? It's in nature. And so a obvious way to ground yourself is with your bare feet connected to the surface of the earth. Through deep breathing and connection to the earth with your bare feet, you will always be able to stabilize yourself. Thank you.
Mashkaram. So you mentioned enemas. I was then intrigued. What kind of enemas would you personally recommend? And what would you say about, if you have anything to say, about urine therapy? And yeah, that's it.
Thank you for the question. Doing a dry fast, I recommend only using water, purified or filtered water. If you use other ingredients during a dry fast, it can easily overstimulate the body. Doing enemas or colonics when you are detoxing or cleansing the body through a nutritional cleanse, then it could be recommended to use different healing herbs in your enemas or colonics. I've used many different ingredients over the years. And with urine therapy, I did this many years ago in the late 90s. I did this for 1 year and a half. And I did this, my main reason was to give me more energy. Because at the time I was not gazing. And I was not truly vigilant about being in alignment with my circadian rhythms at that time. I did the urine therapy for a year and a half. In the beginning of my raw vegan lifestyle. And it did help to bring me more energy. I was doing long food-free periods. Urine therapy used topically is also very useful. Scrubbing the body, diluting urine with water, using as eye drops. Also, I'd like to mention something about cold water. I use ice cold water daily. Well, actually, not daily, because I don't shower daily. My body does not emit odor because of very low caloric intake. When I do shower, I always finish the shower with only cold water for up to 5 minutes. And when I'm completely in nature, if there is a cold stream or river, I enjoy this very much. Dry saunas are something else I really enjoy when I have a chance. Not wet saunas. Especially if the wet sauna is a public sauna. The water molecules in the air hold bacteria and germs that you could breathe in. So I recommend dry saunas. And go from dry saunas to as cold of water as you can find. Either only cold water from shower or stream or river or pool. And this is called hydrotherapy. And you do cycles of this. Dry sauna to ice cold water. And this is incredible therapy. Amazing. Okay, next question.
I read that you sleep very less than till 20 hours a week. So my question is, do you prefer some special times to go to bed to sleep? Because you talk about circadian rhythm. So is it in the evening, after sunset, or it doesn't matter to you? And if you can say something about your state of mind during sleeping. Thank you.
So I do go to bed at near 10 p.m. Not too much later than that. And I'm in complete darkness. and I'm not sleeping. It's like I'm in between waking and sleeping. It's somewhat of a altered state in between waking and sleeping. And I remain in this state for most of the night, actually. And at usually at the end of my sleep cycle is when I will get 1 hour of sleep, 2 hours of sleep, and it's okay for me. I don't have any story about I need more or less, or I'm not for or against anything that happens. I just accept, and this helps a lot by just accepting the moment and the present, condition. And so I do wake up with the sun, regardless if I slept or not. I hope I was complete with my response?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hi.
I would like to ask what helps you to stay in pranic state when you are in city, where there's a lot of people, stressful situations. Who helps you to be calm and peaceful? Thank you.
When I'm in city, I sometimes, usually, city environment is when I may choose to entertain the tongue. And if I do, if I'm in the city for a few weeks, then I may choose to entertain the tongue one time per week, as an example. I will taste fruit or green juice or water or tea. But it is a challenge, these city centers. And for me, oftentimes, if I'm when I'm traveling and I'm staying in a house or at a friend's, parks, natural surroundings, I will take my shoes off and have my bare feet on the grass in parks. So I try to stay mindful of balance when I'm in the city center. Thank you.
Hi, I'm curious about your experience in the dark and what you got from that that helped with this kind of process. And also, what do you think about how to phrase this? Let's start with that, and I'll sit here and wait.
What was the question, my friend?
Your experience with time in the dark and how that relates to this kind of process. And I'm also curious, because you talk about circadian rhythms, about staying completely in the dark for long periods and your perspective on that.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. The darkroom retreats are becoming more and more popular. And I myself have yet to do a darkroom retreat. I was scheduled to do one down in Central America, and the scheduling got complicated, so I've had to wait. I'm actually waiting to be called to when a window of time opens up. I'm wanting to do one for 30 days, and so we will see, and I'm really excited about it. But I do know that the dark, as I mentioned before, is full of light, infrared light. And we could see this if we had these special glasses. And so I cannot speak about my direct experience with many days in the dark. But I do know that these bodies that we are stewarding are advanced technology. And I feel we are just beginning to discover the potentiality of this advanced technology that we are fortunate to caretake. And I sense very strongly that we can harvest infrared light in the dark, and that's, I feel, how people can be in the dark for many days. I'm sure you've heard of the Koji tribe down in Colombia, and the medicine man or the shaman of the village chooses the young child that they feel will be maybe the next shaman, and that child of its life is in complete darkness, in, I assume, a cave type of experience. So I think we are just beginning to scratch the surface of these miraculous bodies that we are so lucky to steward and caretake. Thank you.
Since no one asked the question, do you have anything to say about biophotons? And well, from my personal research, I've been kind of receiving some information that it's available in living foods and in other sources also. I mean, whether you have anything to say about it.
Thank you. Yes, biophotons is a scientific term that means particles of light. Particles of light are biophotons. And I'm sure some of you know recently there's been research about the fourth phase of water. So as we know, there are three phases: gas, liquid, solid. And the fourth phase is recently being discovered. Happens between liquid and solid phase of water. Either when the solid phase is melting into liquid, or when the liquid phase is becoming solid into frozen. And in this period, the water becomes like a gel, like jelly. And what's being discovered now is this fourth phase of water, this gel, is very vital and alive. It's from what's being discovered now, it's the most vital living water there is. And our bodies are full of this fourth phase of water, actually. And sunlight contributes to creating this fourth phase of water inside our bodies. I cannot go into much more detail about this. I'm at a point in my life where I don't read much anymore. I really don't read. I just live in the moment, in the present moment. That's my reality. And if I need a piece of information or knowledge, this comes spontaneously at the right moment. And but I thank you for the question. It's definitely, from what I sense, it's cutting edge exploration of what of what water really is. It's surprising that water is the most dominant element on this earth, and yet we know so little about it. But I think there's powers that be that have wanted to keep the information, the knowledge about water secret and hidden. But that's changing now.
Other questions?
Well, it's a privilege to be able to ask you so many questions. Thank you very much.
Oh, please. I'm an open book, and this is what I'm here for. Thank you,
Appreciate
my
it.
friend.
So I had heard before like a theory about the beginning, the Aiden stories and all. And from this one, it was the issue had started with ourselves eating the wrong food, which would be cooked food, death, kind of the touch of death, the touch of fire, kind of started it. Now the one you came up, you just explained this is for me makes much more sense. So whether you have more to say about it.
My friend, can you repeat, please?
Okay, so the question is whether you have more to say about this the idea that we um, of the amnesia you mentioned, how it started, and yeah, like by starting to eat, we kind of from the first bite, we we yeah. So you mentioned you talked about it briefly. So it's not really a question. It's whether you can add information to this. It was very yeah. I became very curious and intrigued about it. That's it.
Well, I don't have a lot more to say about it because these are my intuition, my insight. But I do know that when I go long periods food free and weeks with no drink, no water, no liquid, when I take that first drink or that first taste of food, I feel that it puts me right back into the matrix mental construct. And when I'm not tasting or drinking, I feel more liberated from the matrix mental construct.
Hai. Eh,
Hello.
se sei cosciente che quando sei un lungo periodo senza cibo e acqua e poi riprendi e ti riporta indietro, cosa ti spinge a farlo ancora?
Now I translate. Okay. What push you to eat when you stay in long period without food? What is the thing that the I don't know what? Why do you come back? Let's say to food. What is the reason?
Good question. Well, two reasons. One is I might be around friends and I may want to, I allow, yeah, I allow. I'm not so rigid. I allow to be influenced by the environment sometimes. And so I would take pleasure in flavor. It's usually just a taste, but that taste is comparable to many people when they have a full meal. Uh, you know, the material physical world, I have very little attachment to. I'm nearly finished. And so one of my last sensory pleasures is to experience the flavor, experience a bit of flavor sometimes. You know, because I've had a few realizations, earth shattering, and I realized that ultimately we are all untouched by the cycles of birth and death. We are not ultimately the body or the mind. And so when this realization is living you, then the material plane, including mind, body, organism, is not the most significant experience. And therefore, being rigid with this body, this body is a food body. It's a piece of food. And so it becomes compost eventually. And so a good question to ask is, when the body dies, does the body leave the world behind, or does the world dissolve when the five sense body, mind, organism?
I just meant if you can say that after Shank Praksharan, would be okay to eat immediately raw food, nothing happened to the body? Would it be okay for completely clean intestine because of something? Because they say body need oil, intestine need oil, because it is completely clean. That's what I meant.
Yes, raw foods immediately. Well, not, I mean, immediately after, but, water, maybe some, uh, maybe some teas, and then maybe green juice. I mean, for me, dark leafy greens is the ultimate food right there. Dark leafy green juice. That's the ultimate food for these bodies if you are going to choose to consume food or to taste food or drink. Um, uh, because even fruit, fruit is a wonderful cleanser, but it's fructose. So um, it's people eat too much fructose. The human body is, I believe, the number one food for the human body and the brain is fat, not carbohydrates. You know, um, and plant-based fat, avocado, coconut meat, seed, nuts. Um, One of the best is flaxseed and chia seed. But your body can absorb flaxseed and chia seed because it's so gelatinous in juice. Those two things, if you were to do those every day, for days, for weeks, is amazing. I mean, you could eat a small amount of fruit, but another benefit of the uh, chia and flaxseed porridge is that it's wonderful for the colon. It will give you a bowel movement. It keeps your bowels open and moving. You can, if you want flavor, you can add some stevia extract drops to this porridge. You could add some seasoning, nutmeg, cardamom, cinnamon. Khichdi is grain, cooked grain. So, thank you for the question.
The last question. We have the last question.
Good morning. Earlier on, you mentioned that you did urine therapy while you were on a vegan diet. Now, my question is, would you recommend urine therapy while you're in a transitional state to prana and drinking only juices? Wouldn't that be something that would favor fasting and detoxifying and would go against promoting the pranic state?
When I mentioned I drink my urine, I did that for a year and a half, and that was during very long periods of food-free periods of what people term fasting. That is when I did the urine, and I did the urine for not only the cleansing properties, but also to bring me more energy while I was only drinking water. So I don't have experience drinking urine with a cooked vegan diet or not even really with a raw vegan diet. I was doing urine therapy when I was doing many months of just water, and I was using urine specifically for to maintain my energy levels as I was um, recalibrating and adjusting to a food-free reality.
So sorry, I'm not sure I got it. So you said that you were using urine therapy while you were drinking water only.
Correct.
Ah,
During
so
my food, yeah, during my food-free extended periods of no food, I was using urine specifically to boost my energy levels.
all right. So it did not bring in a loss of weight. It provided you with more energy, and it cleansed you as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. It brought me a little bit more, a very small amount more calorie than water only.
All right. Many thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, dear.
Okay, thank you, Rishi. We arrived at the end.
Thank you so much to all the attendees. Have a wonderful whatever's next. And the Pranic lifestyle is a beautiful existence to live. Enjoy the journey.
Thank you.